Daily care of baby chicks really does not take that long, and to prove it, I'm taking you along with me this morning. I've come out here to check on these chicks for the first time. We're out here because they're going to be a little bit loud in there. You can probably already hear them chirping. Things are going to take a little bit longer today because I'm talking you through it, but I'm hoping to show you how absolutely simple this whole process is. So let's go. Now, the first thing that is pretty obvious, and I hope you can hear me over the sound of these babies, is that we use an outdoor chick brooder. My goodness, guys. We use an outdoor chick brooder, and this is from the very beginning. We do not ever have them in the house, so we have them in this tub inside of our chicken tractor to keep them safe. And I could put them on the grass from day one, but I prefer to keep them in the brooder because of the fact that they're very small, and if there's any tiny crack in the chicken tractor, maybe the ground isn't completely level, they could slip right through and get hurt or get eaten by a predator or something like that. So I love to have them in this tub for the first week and a half to 2 weeks, depending on the time of year. So let's go ahead and get started with our chores. So the first thing that I'm going to do for the area we live in is I am going to take this heat plate out for the rest of the day. Honestly, it's pretty warm in here. It's October in Florida, so I'm not too concerned about it. And I want to give the chicks more room in the brooder. Now I'm going to make sure to plug this in again at the end of the day before it starts to get cold, but this gives them a little bit more space to run around in the brooder. And as you can see, they are already jumping around on it, getting it poopy. So I will put this on the grass and just unplug it. Now let's go ahead and replace their pine shavings because they've made quite a mess of these. So now we're going to top off these pine shavings, and I do this about 2 times a day, once in the morning and once at night. And you can see that even though I have this waterer up on a block, we have got tons of pine shavings in the water. And that is why I do love to get them out of the brooder pretty quick at about 1.5 to 2 weeks. Guys, move on. Don't peck me. So I'm just adding a thin layer of pine shavings over their manure. This is going to give them a clean place to run around. And then you can use all of this bedding for your garden or your compost pile. So it's not going to go to waste. Sorry, guys. It's not going to go to waste at the end of this process. But you can see they have so much more room now that we have taken out that heat plate for the day. Now, if it's really cold where you're at or you can't take out that heat plate, it's no problem. They'll still be fine. But I could see that they weren't under it, so they're warm enough, and we will just let them run around for the rest of the day with a little more space. So that's good. We've got that topped off. Didn't take any time at all. So simple. Now, I can tell you that the thing that these guys want the most is some food. I take away the feed because these are Cornish cross meat birds. I take away the feed pretty early on. I take it away at night, and so they'll have it during the day, and then I take it away at night. And the reason for this is Cornish cross, they can really overeat and kind of work themselves into some health issues. So we go ahead and start taking away the feed at night at about a week old. So we're going to get this filled up and get it in there, and you will see that they are hungry. Now, the amount of time that your chores take is going to be greatly dependent on where your food and your water are stored. Now, I don't always store chick feed in the tractor. That would make it incredibly difficult and cumbersome when it comes time to move the tractor as these guys get bigger and we put them on grass. But right now, these chickens are in a field with our cows. They will be for some of the time, and we don't want to have this feed out in the field with the cows. So while they're in the brooder and they're chicks and they're stationary, it made a lot of sense to put the feed in here. But as we put them on grass and start moving them, we will take this feed bucket out and put it outside of this field. Now, our property is pretty small, so that's not that big of a deal. But if you are doing chicks and you're coming and you're checking on them multiple times a day, maybe you need to fill their water up multiple times a day, that's when the chores can get to taking a little bit longer. Not very long, but a little bit longer. Now, as for this waterer, you can see that there is quite a bit of water still left in this. It's just gunked up by the pine shavings. So when it's like this, I'm just simply going to tip it over and get the pine shavings out and then put the water back in. Now, of course, if it was low, I would need to go and fill it up. Very self-explanatory. But when it's like this, you can just tip it over and get your pine shavings out. You can scoop them out with your hands if you'd like. That's chickens for you. You're always messy, but you're just going to tip it out, get rid of those pine shavings, and then you can put it right back in the tub. I'm going to put it on top of this block This is the hardest thing about having chicks, is the water issue. It doesn't seem to matter how high you elevate the water, and you can't elevate it very high because they're chicks and they're small and they need to be able to reach it. But it really doesn't matter what you do. They are going to get pine shavings in their water. And that's why I like to take them out of the brooder at about a week and a half, 2 weeks max. Because once you get them on grass, you're no longer dealing with the pine shavings in the water issue. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in. So they are very thirsty because they had this clogged up with these pine shavings. Just going to get balanced there. And they're good to go. I also want to mention pasty butt, because that seems to be something that a lot of people are concerned with, and I've definitely had my share of dealing with it. So the advice is really to pick up the chicks, check their vent, and see if there's anything stuck back there, and then you do need to get that off. It can be deadly if you do not take care of it, because they have no way to get that waste out of their body. Now, the thing is, I don't actually suggest that you pick up every single chick and check. That is just going to take you a lot of time. You, of course, can do that if you have a small amount of chickens or if you just want to do that. But when you're dealing with this, where we've got 29 chicks, that's a lot of chicks to pick up. And do I remember which ones I've checked and which ones I haven't? It just gets to be a little iffy. The biggest thing is just spending some time with your chicks. Like I said, come out here 2 to 3 times a day. It doesn't need to be difficult. If you are someone that works outside of the home, check them before you leave for work. Check them when you come back home. You should be just fine. As long as you've got a good setup and they have what they need, they should be good to go. And you don't necessarily need to catch something like pasty butt the second that it becomes a problem. But spending time with your chicks and just watching them as you're doing your chores, you can see if there is a problem with a chick's vent just by looking at them running around for a minute or two, and also noticing if any of them have any injuries or anything like that where they're being pecked. Just taking a look at them and making sure they all look good to go. While pasty butt and injuries and things like that are things you need to look for, when it comes to pasty butt on chicks, I've honestly in 4 years probably only dealt with it 1 or 2 times in all the batches of chicks that we've done, and we do 2 to 3 batches every year, usually 3. It's just not something that we deal with a lot. I'm not sure if it's the hatchery that we get them from or if it's the fact that we do things outdoors, but it's just not really a big deal for us. But again, this is something that's really easy to check for as you're taking care of your chicks every day. Chores for chickens and just meat birds in general as you grow them out, they do not take that much time. Yes, you've got to come out, take care of their needs about 2 times a day, but it doesn't take long in those 2 times a day, and it's definitely something that you can do. So if you are concerned about raising chicks, if you've never done it before and you're here watching this video, I hope that it's been helpful for you and shown you that they are really not that difficult to care for. You just need to have a good setup to make things a little easier on yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I really think you would like this one up here. I hope that you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next video.